Howdy, Swedish Lena. Appreciate you being here. It is Monday, the 1st of July. Happy Canada Day for those of you that are Canadians. We definitely have a mod who's a Canadian. If you're not aware, I have another channel, Windy Wanders the City, and I totally didn't understand what she had said when she first came in, that she was prideful of Canada today. And I thought, oh well, that Canada does a Pride Day like Chicago's, or like in the US we've got Pride Month. Never realizing or never really equating to, oh wait, it's Canadian Independence Day. So congratulations for you Canadians. And again, sorry Britain, we still love you, but we like independence. We are on, howdy D, great to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around. We're coming in on Polk Street. So just now coming across Financial Place. We'll go underneath the train tracks and then head over to Clark Street and go protest the org. Corn. I think, and he might already be there, but we should see Freezy new project today. He and I have been chatting a little bit today. I want to say something that, well, I always want to say something. One of the things that I think is important is I'm coming over here to support Free Xeno Project, not because he's Free Xeno Project, but because he's protesting Scientology. And I want to help support everybody who protests Scientology. Be you loud, be you bold, be you quiet. If you're just somebody who chats and helps grow the channels in watch hours, if you're somebody who's behind the scenes helping us gather the paperwork, right, like Fat Grammy does, there's plenty of ways to help. And I hope that everybody sees this channel as somebody who is really for protesting Scientology. We're coming up to the back alley. I love it. We've got 17 people in and 17 likes. This is interesting. That red pickup truck, I think it's just this side of, because it seems to be at the same place as the garbage cans are. So if we're looking at that red pickup truck, I don't think that's Scientology. I think that's going to be Paisans. Keep on heading over to Clark Street. I'm intentionally picking this time. I don't have much time today, so I'll probably have to leave at about 45 minutes. I might be able to stretch it out to an hour. But the reason that I kind of start this 12:40 time is that we're going to see people coming back from lunch. So the staff members have left the org. They've either gone back to their homes to rest up for a bit, or they've gone and found some food, and then they'll come back to the org before 1 o'clock. And then within the next 5 to 10 minutes is usually when they start sending the body routers out. Now, one thing I can tell you right now is I see a Scientologist standing really at the Paisans spot, or the parking garage next to Paisans. I'm going to slide over to the narrow part of the sidewalk. So we've got a Scientologist leaving right now. And then we've got the two Scientologists here. Oh. Got our Scientologist waving to us. I will tell you that I don't see Free Xeno yet. Ah, good news. Blinds are up. Let's fix these blinds. Excellent bridge. Love that. So we've seen, there's a woman in white hair, with white hair, sitting at this first bay. She's paying attention to her iPhone or like a Kindle, a small iPad. Good morning, Melissa. She is not paying attention to the screen. We've seen her before. She is a public. She doesn't really like that we come out here and protest. There is a new person at the administrative desk. She doesn't really seem to have seen that I'm here yet. Let me see if we've got anybody in. Okay, so I think that's Jessica back there talking to a green recruit. We'll see if we can engage with that person. Howdy, MD Media, great to see you there. We've got another Scientologist coming. There was the two Scientologists outside the garage. Let me get this door, or this window. I'm worried about my special powers that I'm not able to get these blinds down quickly enough. But our friend here will remind the people inside. Right. So, yeah. I knew that he was Scientology just because he was chatting with the other two Scientologists that were down the street. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. He's come in and he's talked to him. So now, yeah. So, right, the white shirt that just came in has gotten the attention of the administrator, who should have been paying attention in the first place. So, and we see that the cult has to now hide, right? So Scientology can't stand up to light. Got another, looked like a civilian that just walked in there in the blue, the female with the bun and the blue vest. Yes, they are clowns. Yeah, there have been the times where I've thought, hey, should I get a ponytail wig or something like that? You know, get myself a mullet to come down here and see if they really recognize that I'm here or not. I don't know if they recognize me or if they recognize my camera. Howdy, James Steele. I see the, if we look down the street, one of the custodians, that's custodian for Scientology walking up here with the shiny top and the gray beard. And hopefully you saw me today that, right, shiny top and a gray beard. I'm not anti-gray beards, I'm not anti-shiny tops. So the two Scientologists that were at the parking garage, right, they're going to head back to the org now. Again, at this point in time, they're heading back from their lunch break, right? They typically take from noon to 1 off here. I did see that Jessica was in the back talking to somebody. Oop. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was watching the chat. The custodian naturally is a key holder and therefore helped him get in the other door. Yeah, who's the? It's not a. Oh, Sideshow Bob, right? Sideshow Bob was the Simpsons character with the cone-shaped dreads. Oh, that'd be awesome. Would love to see Cubs. I remember when I first met Cubs, I'm pretty sure that he was kind of on tour, and it would have been DC and New York that he was at, whereas his home org is Cubs. And by the way, when I say home org, it's the home place that they protest. Cubs is not in any way associated with Scientology, and he is not a Scientologist in that space. Hey, Jules, how you doing? Let's look at the garden here. The garden's going pretty nicely. James, this is the third channel I've seen you on today. I really appreciate that. James saw us walk Goose Island on Windy Wanders the City this morning. So we walked Goose Island. We walked through one of the last remnants of projects here in the city. For the most part, well, I don't think that anything is still called a project right now, but there's a lower income families or housing scenario on Chicago Avenue, between Chicago Avenue and Division. And there, we walked through there this morning. I'm just intrigued by I'm going to go back to the org for just a second. The person kind of has a portfolio with them, and that's kind of how they do coursework. And then I'll start, it's a loud truck. Then I'll start wandering a bit. Okay, the person that I was kind of tracking, he's gone into Columbia College now. Not positive, but pretty sure we've got one coming up. Yep. Does the church let you talk about the church? That's probably a cult then. You know what? Normally I put, because there was a civilian that was behind the member. You can see that this window is open. Does the church let you talk about the church? That's kind of the definition of a cult, just so we're clear. Folks, remember, I don't have much of an expectation that the staff member is going to talk to me. But at that point, right, we had 3 people walk by, and the 3 people get to hear me say cult rather loudly. It is intentional. You know what? The mail reg person is on the other side of the street right now. I'm gonna open up the camera real quick. There's a lot of traffic on Clark, so I don't think I'll be able to get across it. I'll see if we can see down there. You can see the golf hat that's just above. Hey Nance, how are you? The golf hat that's there. So that is, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle over there real quick. So this is, oh, sorry, I had it too big. This is one of the mail reg folk. I'm going to take the camera off as we get closer up to her. How are you today? She nodded to me very civilly, but that was about it. There's a day that I'm going to ask her to dinner. Over on Dearborn, is that the corn? Do you have stuff over on Dearborn? So right now we're seeing another female. I've seen her in civilian clothes. I think she's newer to joining staff. Kind of looking down here, just paying attention to the guy in blue real quick as well. Folks, this is so disheartening. A woman should not be carrying a backpack. Should not be walking on a crane in her uniform. This is way too hot of weather for what she's got on. She's got quite a walk ahead of her. You know, she's got to get to the end of this block right now. Just a shame. We've got another 6 or 7 minutes before the Scientologists are all due back at the org. So I'm a little bit perplexed where she's coming from. Yeah, big robot news. She absolutely is in the cult. We also know that her duty, her hat, her post, however you want to term that in Scientology, is that she's a letterhead. So she writes letters to people who either haven't been in a while or people who just finished a course, and she's going to talk to them about that. So we've got Friezino here. How you doing, Friezino?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Very, very well. Very, very
A
well.
little later than I expected. Yeah.
Can you see the woman?
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
We were able to pull the shades down. Yeah, I hate that she's carrying that backpack. It's just not, the burden seems wrong
It looks
for her.
bigger than mine.
Yeah.
It's not super light, but I try to get it.
I'm going to get her to take a lunch with me someday.
So yeah, anybody that can stop over on WindyCityThetanWatch, it's becoming Thetan City.
There's too many Thetans in my town.
Freudian slip there.
All right. If you're going to be here for a bit, I'm going to go ahead and take a walk. Yeah. So Windy is kind of, I'm sorry, Friezino and I now have a complex problem. So Friezino is going to stay in front of the org for a bit. He'll be able to get the last of the people heading into the org. I'm going to head over to Dearborn Street. Now, again, I don't think that anybody is actually body routing right now. The reason being that they should be on lunch. Scientology, if they're one thing, they're good about the clock. I'm guessing that the exception with Jessica having been inside the org talking to somebody on the bench there, that she, since there was raw meat inside, she probably had to forego her lunch and make it up just so that she could talk to the person that was there. Bridge, excellent. If you do see, by the way, I saw you saying that, hey, if I see anybody over on, yeah, you're always going to see Jehovah's Witness in town. And I saw the email that you sent earlier, so that'll be great. Tomorrow, about the same time, is most likely when I'll be out here. Somebody getting their selfies as they walk towards the lake. No problem. Folks, I really dislike the idea that Scientology has a foothold here in Chicago, and I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that the foothold doesn't get larger. I'd be more than happy to shrink it for them. But I also like to show off the lovely city that Scientology has invaded. So if you have any interest in seeing the skyline, the scenery, the neighborhoods, interesting elements of Chicago, definitely encourage you to head over to Windy Wanders the City. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here, but I'm going to go through the park real quick. There's a park halfway down this street, and Corn was doing some decoration over the weekend, hypothetically, allegedly. Yeah, so I saw the statement that, right, the Mormons aren't as bad. Now, the Mormons are a high control group, but I agree that when it comes to just how incredibly egregious the activities of a cult are, Scientology crushes the Mormons. Now, I'm not a fan of the Mormons. I do think that they have some mixed up beliefs, and even inside the church, there are the ideas. So some believe the ribbon should be here, right, Corn? That it's a, right, when males dominate misogynistic society, women do not have much power or strength in the Church of Mormon. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought that Corn was over here, but I'm not sure where she was able to put decorations, but I do not see any decorations right now. Since I'm closer to the bottom of the street, I'm going to head over to State Street as well. Again, the reason that I'm able to kind of wander away from the front door is we've got Free Xenu Project over there confronting people who are trying to walk in, and to be able to chat with the staff members. Beautiful shot of Dearborn Station. Thank you, F Scientology. Something, and we saw Bridge mention that she saw a Jehovah's Witness. By the way, they are out all the time and everywhere. There are very few days that I'm in Chicago where I don't at least see 2 of their promotional stations. But they are very non-aggressive. That they'll put up a little easel with 4 or 5 pockets on it, and each of those pockets has literature in it. But unless you come up and talk to them, they're not really going to actively or proactively try to draw you in. So that's a huge difference between them and Scientology. Whereas Scientology, they are going to try to hand you something. They are going to try to get you to come over to the organization. Yeah, I imagine that. And by the way, folks, I am not pro JW. That I don't like any high control groups, and I do think that they are a high control group. Now, the other thing that's odd about the two, or different about the two, is that if you do come up and start talking to a Jehovah's Witness, they're more than happy to talk to you about beliefs. And that's, again, whereas they're less aggressive, they'll talk. Scientology, more aggressive, won't talk. Howdy, Leslie, welcome in. Over to State Street. Still not seeing anybody out here, but we mostly don't expect to see anybody out here yet. They should have been on their way to return to the org. Closing down their, we're just after 1 o'clock. Now, something that I have noticed is we've seen some new people in uniform over the last week and a half, since the advertisement about Grand Rapids and the fundraising that was going on there. I think that some of the people have been shifted up there. It's also more likely that we do have an awful lot of Sea Org members here. Now, they're not going to be based here, they're temporarily here, right? And now that they're trying to get a push for donations up in Grand Rapids, maybe some of these people are heading up that direction. I haven't seen our curly-haired router in a couple of visits here, so that's odd to me. Now it just might be that he's out before I get here, or he stays inside until I leave. We definitely haven't seen Chad. By the way, I'm going and I'm looking at all the old video, and I actually saw some old video of Frizzino and I today. Back in the winter when we both had to be covered up like crazy and had our hoods on. I'm sorry, I said Grand Rapids, I meant Battle Creek. Thank you. And Battle Creek's code name is Enchanted. I don't know what the other code names are, but the reason that they do that is so that only the in crowd, or the people that know the secret handshake of Scientology, are able to get to those sign-up pages. And it is Battle Creek. What they don't want you to be able to do is type in Scientology.org/Battle Creek. Howdy, Twyla. Now we're over to Wabash. I'm now gonna start heading back to the org. A little bit, this exhibition came in recently, but there's a protest exhibition here at, pretty sure this is a Columbia College place. Yeah, so this is Columbia College. And there's a protest exhibit going on here. And so what we're seeing here is old protests. Old's not the historical protests. Naturally, apartheid here. I think this is just in general. Okay, so we're marking the 30th anniversary of Mandela becoming president. The story of Mandela is rather amazing, right? He was an activist who was against the apartheid government. He was so effective that the apartheid government locked him up. I'm just trying to see if you can see some of the other posters that we've got in there of different protests that went on around the world. When at some point after apartheid had been demolished, disbanded, he was released from jail, and then shortly after being released from jail, he ran for president, and he was the first black president of South Africa. They were underneath the political party of ANC, African National Congress. This past year is the first year, again, there's a lot of political turmoil throughout the world, right? You've got the English the Tories and Labour aren't able to get majorities. The French are having trouble getting a majority. South Africa, the ANC is having a hard time getting a majority. So it's just been an interesting time politically throughout the world right now. We are going to head back to the org, see if we can find anybody heading out of the org to do any body routing. As I said, Frizzino Project is here in town today. He's out in front of the org right now. I will not be here later this afternoon. I just have some earlier obligations, and as many of you know, I was out of town this past weekend, so I wasn't able to protest. I did tune into as many channels as possible and cheer, clap. Hey, Swedish, what is happening? So my expectation was that as you enter the live, you were probably going to get an ad, but are you getting ads in the middle? And let me see, I'll check and make sure that I didn't set something up incorrectly. I definitely don't want you guys being disrupted in the middle. I don't mind so much that we've got to watch a little bit of an ad, and I think that I only allow skippable ads. So, you know, thank you for watching the 5 seconds of them, but yeah, feel free to skip. Let me see, I don't know if I can change it on my phone, but I'll have to look at the settings, what the settings are, and I'll definitely discontinue or change those settings, because I don't think it causes continuity problems, in my opinion. And also, I don't know how do you miss 5 seconds of the video, or do you get delayed in that process? So like if they put a commercial in the middle, do you pick up where you last were? Hello, Thede. Thede Weedy. You know, I am seeing some new names, so I'll go through this again, that I'm a never in, right? This church has never impacted me personally. I didn't know about Scientology for the longest time. I just thought it was a silly religion in regards to its space opera and everything that went on there. And you know, you can make plenty of statements about how all religions have a fantasy element to it, but it just seemed even more absurd than the historical Judeo-Christian or even Muslim realm that we have. But about now, I'm going to have to say it's closer to 2 years. I've been seeing the second gens or ex-Scientologists tell their stories for the past 2 years, and I didn't realize that these atrocities took place. I didn't understand that there was child auditing. I didn't know that it was a money element, but it's sort of like, hey, if you're silly and want to spend money, you know, that's an on you thing. The human trafficking, I was unaware of. The child abuse, the elder abuse, didn't know that these things had occurred. I didn't understand that it's culty. I just thought it was creepy in that space. And once I learned of these things, right, the Surge story, the Laura story, Aaron's story really is the idea of family disconnection. His mother-in-law had to make a decision. Do I love the 3 grandchildren that are in, or do I love the 3 grandchildren that are out? I'm not allowed to love both. And that just sounded absolutely bizarre and crazy to me. So I wanted to do whatever I could to come out here and protest. I've talked about this before. I'm not against trying to get people out. There's a fire truck coming, so I'm going to mute you for a minute unless they turn. I don't think that I'm equipped really to pull a Scientologist out. I'm going to stand behind this real quick. So I'm going to have to figure out, how do I hit mute when I'm doing the native YouTube? I know how to do it in StreamYard, but I can't do it here. Sorry for all of you that do it. Hey, Papa Smurf. So getting back to what I was saying, I think that I am best equipped to disrupt the cult from bringing new members in. So the thing that we do on my channel the most often is we're out here looking for the uniformed members who are trying to pass out the propaganda. And as they engage green recruits, I alert the green recruits as to what they just received. And a very high percent of the time, they'll either give me the flyer or they'll throw it out, or they'll say I know and never have taken the flyer. There are people that have ignored what I've said. Wait, we have harems? I want harems. Wait, I'm going to go back and see if I can read Nance's. Okay, so if I drop the arrow, I see the microphone there. Thank you. So my hope is that I can help fewer people endure the violations that this church puts on its members, right? I would love still to get members out if they're trapped inside. I just think that I'm more effective stopping people from joining. I think it was this weekend, but it might have been this weekend and last week. Nance, Korn, Juanita, maybe even Never and Nana. We saw the Titanic exhibit, as well as they were broadcasting from the Pride Parade here in Chicago. Oh wait, are you guys finding me mullets to buy? Thank you, Swedish. And so let's dig into that a little bit as well. Because this is something that works for me, that's great. That does not mean it's the only thing, and it doesn't mean that I don't agree with the way that other people protest, right? There are very vocal people out there that, Pearl Snappy is the first one that comes to mind, and the intelligence, she also spent time in my industry, so a lot of, I can hear some of the code words she says, and I understand what she's done in her industry. She's a very intelligent woman. Oh, here comes a body router. So I think we're seeing chalk. One thing, I don't know if you saw it on there, but the woman looked at that, at what Free Xenu is writing in the chalk. We'll take a look at this ourselves. So the I will say a body router just came out, but he went right back in. So that's me just informing Free Xenu. So he's here chalking. You can see the body router right there. He is on the phone, most likely to the police.
Sergeant Dolan, by the way, I want to get this on camera. Sergeant Dolan is on camera telling Nance. Oh, that would be the
Sorry.
Sergeant Dolan is on camera telling Nance he knows that it's legal for her to chalk, but he doesn't want them to do it because we write it, they scrub it, we write it, they scrub it. If he comes out and bugs me before they come out and scrub it, he's the one escalating it, not us.
Correct. I agree with that.
And that's misconduct because he's taking sides in a well, he's a police officer. He's supposed to be unbiased, and that's not being unbiased.
He 100% should be unbiased. That's one thing I'll say. The other thing I'll say is the idea that, so what if it escalates? It's the first person that breaks the law. That's the problem. Until the law is broken, who cares about escalation?
And he said, I don't want you doing it.
Right.
But yet he's telling us we're not allowed now.
Yeah.
Don't make up your mind.
So we've got a Scientologist now coming back from lunch. Does the church let you talk about the church? You know, that's a definition of a cult, just so we're clear. I'm going to go down to the hallway.
Actually, I'd like to do that.
Oop. I think we've got another Scientologist over here, but I'm not positive. I can't see piping on it, but there is a black suit on the other side of the street. I want to head down to the end of the street to see if that gentleman that we saw poke out when I was walking there. Yes. So a couple of people have asked me on the phone how many steps I get, and I'll say that I have not been running as much as I was maybe a year and a half ago, but I'm still getting 20,000 plus steps. Those who are Scientology. I just recognize so many of the people now. I said, this one, I don't think he is, and plus he's not wearing a tie and he's got an untucked button shirt. So I don't think that he is Scientology, but I do want to go look at the alley real quick. Sorry, folks, I think I've started 4 different stories and I haven't completed any of them. Yeah, there's no activity. There's no activity back here right now. The suit did turn towards the city, so yeah, I don't think that they're involved in the church. I do want to see if that gentleman comes back out and tries to body route. Folks, I have a 1:30, so we'll see if we can go help Free Xenu, but I'm going to have to bounce fairly quickly. Today we were able to get the shades down. Definitely encourage you to head over to Free Xenu and watch him. I'm sure there might be other lives out there as well. Big Robot, I will subscribe to you as soon as the chat's over. Yeah, Thede, I've done the wall of fire with staff, sometimes when they're gardening. Other times, we had Chad out one day trying to kind of keep me away from the org. So as he was just standing there, I gave him wall of fire OT3 as well as the clear cog. Helped him understand some of the crimes of the church in that space. So, thank you, Dramatic Red. I love it. I will say that last week, but it was just, I want to warn everybody here. I'm going to continue protesting Scientology. Last week, I wasn't really out as often as I usually am, and it's, hopefully you all understand, life happens, right? I have a job that I have to maintain. I've got a family that I have to maintain. I have social networks that I have to maintain, but I want to be out here as often as possible. And, there will be weeks where we have less time on camera, but please don't ever think that I'm quitting. I know that we've seen other people, and people will. There is attrition, right? It's tiring to do this all the time. I just think it's something that I can stand for. So. All right, folks. I'm going to join you over on Free Xenu project. I'm going to head home. By the way, I'm not sure if all of you have seen this, right? But this is basically right out of Dianetics. So we're looking at, I'll give you a critical view. Oh. Boo, YouTube. YouTube will only let me see horizontal or vertical for the duration. But this is right out of Dianetics, and this was the point when L. Ron Hubbard is saying, hey, a small child shouldn't care when somebody kisses them, even if it's sexually, because it's related to their past lives, and it's just an engram that they're remembering from a past time. And they believe that this is an okay process. It gives them permission to sensually or sexually kiss a young child. One of the other things that I like about this, yes, allegedly. One of the other things that I love about this is that a Scientologist cannot destroy the words of L. Ron Hubbard. So they're perplexed, right? So the Scientologists have this struggle of, do I go erase that and
call the cops and have them.
yeah, we've had the police do it for the Scientologists. But the idea that they can't erase this because it's a suppressive act. You know, I think that we saw the page number, and I want to say, I'd be guessing.
Books. I have three
Yeah.
books, and it's different page number in all three books.
Okay.
The one is, oddly enough, the one book I do have is from 1971, and it's got Celebrity Center stamped on the inside cover.
Nice. So Friesino was just expressing that his copy actually says Celebrity Center, or it's stamped Celebrity Center. So must have been in the library at the Celebrity Center.
At one point.
All right. Folks, thanks so much. I'm going to head over to Friesino Project as well as I head back to my client. Thank you all for joining me. Like, subscribe. If you're on the replay crew and you've stayed this long, I really appreciate it. Please make sure to leave some comments. Take care, everybody.